2 years ago, I did a video showing the $5 note and what actually you can see on it under UV light. And for the last couple of years, I've been trying to collect all the notes, and finally I've managed to track all of them down. They all came out in different years, and the hardest one to get was the $100 note, which came out in October 2020. But I was looking for it for so long and no bank had it. My father was going to the bank every second week asking for it, and they said, no, we don't have any in stock. And finally a friend of mine had a bit of a win down the Manly Leagues Club, and he finally managed to secure one for me. And this was the one here. That was the hardest one to obtain. So now we can put them all under UV light and see what will actually show up as counterfeit measures on here. These are the second lot of notes that I've seen change in my lifetime. When I grew up in the 70s, I was a 70s child. There was a particular set of notes which included the dollar note. If no one has seen what the dollar note used to look like, there it is there. The memories I have of this from the 70s is $1 worth of mixed lollies, 5 packets of football cards, because those were 20 cents each back then, $1 worth of 20-cent coins for the pinball machines. So these, I was always using these back in the 70s. These were very common. Phased out, of course, for the dollar coin. And the $2, if no one has seen what the $2 looks like, a beautiful green $2 note. What I can remember with this one is a hamburger. Plain hamburger was $1.80. Friends of mine back then who smoked at the age of 8 or 9, they were buying cigarettes. I can remember cigarettes being $1.80 a packet. And again, $2 worth of mixed lollies, $2 worth of 20-cent pieces for the pinball machines, mainly for pinballs and arcade games. That was huge back then in the 70s and early 80s. So, and I came across this awesome website that actually goes into detail about the older currency, the ones that has been in circulation, and the newer ones. So I think I'm actually on the older currency. So they're the ones that have been in circulation for the last, I think, 25 years. If you have a look there on the right-hand side, the date of issue for that particular note was 1992. So those ones, so the ones that I grew up with in the 70s got phased out in 1992. So if we go to the $10 note, that one was released in 1st of November 1993. So once again, they were released each year from 1992. The $20 note was 1994. Then we got the $50 note. Doesn't want to click on it. There we go. That was released in 1995. Coincidentally, that being released in 1995, that's exactly the year that I bought my property that I'm still living in today, where I'm filming this video out of. 1995 is when I bought my property, when houses were still quite cheap. And the $100 note was released in 1996. So they were the second lot of banknotes that were released in the 90s. Now if we go up to the top here, these are the ones that came in. The first one was 2016. And down here, if you're interested, you got these cool little features, and they tell you everything you need to know about these. So it flips it around and shows the other side. If you click on this one, that shows you that the Parliament House, and gives you a little bit of a write-up description of what that's all about. But what I'm interested in is the UV. So somewhere along here is the birds. So if we click on this bird, so in the top left-hand corner up there, you can see that bird showing up there, and apparently it's in and around what happens to be the wattle species. There's 5 different wattle species on each individual note. Now I'm interested to see just under that bird, apparently if you shine UV light just down here, that bird will show up. And you can't see it with a naked eye, you have to put it under UV light to show up. And also on the back here, somewhere there will show up the year this was released as well, only under UV light. So I'm interested. I never knew what these birds were. I think when I made this video back in 2019, I thought that was some sort of honey eater. It is a colourful eastern spinebill. So that's on the $5 note. If we click to the 10, let's see what the $10 note bird comes up to be. There's the bird there. So once again, if we see it up in the top left hand corner there, they'll show up a lot better under UV light. That happens to be the sulfur crested cockatoo. So they have the eastern spinebill on the 5 and the sulfur crested on the 10. Let's click on the $20 bill and click on the birdie. So in the top left hand corner of that one, that's pretty easy to tell that that is a kookaburra. And here they've classified it as the colourful kookaburra. So under UV light, I gather we're going to see a whole bunch of different colours. So eastern spinebill, the sulfur crested cockatoo, we've got the colourful kookaburra. We then go to the 50. Let me click on the 50 up here. Very cool page. Click on the birdie down the bottom here and a colourful swan. So if we get the 50, once again, it's sort of like sitting on a native species of the wattle. So that's the colourful swan. And last but not least, we have the $100 bill that was released. Well, that's something we didn't go through also, so I'll have a look what this one is. And this one is, can't really tell, it looks like to be some sort of owl in that top left hand corner. It's very hard to get it to show, and it is the colourful owl. So I think it is the masked wing owl. Pretty sure that's what I read somewhere for it to be, but they just present it as the colourful owl. Now, if we go through them again, if you have a look on the first slot here. Okay, so the $100 bill was released on the 29th of October 2020, so that was the one I was waiting on. So when I did this video back in 2019, the $100 bill was not released, so that's why I had to wait for so long. If we click on the 50, that was released in 2018, the 18th of October 2018. Oh, okay, so the $20 bill was released on 9th of October 2019. You've got the $10 bill released 20th September 2017, and the $5 was released in 2016. Okay, so it was the $5 note released first, then the $10 note, then the $50 note was released in 2018, then the $20 note in 2019, and then the $100 note. Okay, so what we might do, I'll spread these out here on the table, turn them upside down first. I'm pretty sure on this side of the note, under UV light, it will actually show the date of first issue of these banknotes. So I'll dim some lights, place them all down. Actually, before we do that, this was the amazing light that I used 2 years ago, the AceBeam X80. This has some colored lights. This is a very high-end light. So this has red, green, blue, and UV. And just recently, I bought this amazing little JetBeam Mini 1. I don't know if you can see the JetBeam showing up on there. It's hard to hold this phone. And this also has some coloured lights, but most importantly has UV as well. So we're going to try both of them to see if there's any difference in power. All right, let's switch off some lights. We'll put these banknotes down and see what happens. I've had to change rooms because the notes weren't focusing very well under UV light, so we'll try it here. So I'll turn the light on. There's the red that just wipes everything out. We've got the green, the blue, and the UV. So there you go. On the $5 note, you can see that it shows the serial number and the date of release, 2016. On the $10 note, once again, serial number, date of release, 2017. The 50 was next, 2018. $20 note, 2019. And the $100 note, which was released on October of last year. It's not wanting to focus. 2020. Alright, we'll spin these round. We'll see what birds are showing up. Okay, there we go. It's hard to hold this camera and light at the same time. So there's the $5 note with the bird, the eastern spinebill, munching on some wattle there, some Banksia it looks like. On the $10 note, you have got the sulfur crested flying cockatoo. So just above it, you have it there sitting still on the wattle, but in this picture it's actually flying. And in this one, I think we said it was the colourful swan, and we have that in motion, once again flying away. That's the $50 bill. On the $20 bill, we have the colourful kookaburra, once again in motion, flying away. And the $100 bill, we have the masked owl, I think it is, but they classify it as the colourful owl on the $100 bill. So once again, on the 5, you have got the eastern spinebill. On the $10 note, you have got the sulfur crested cockatoo in motion. On the $50 bill, you have got the colourful swan. On the $20 bill, you have got the kookaburra, colourful kookaburra, and the masked owl on the $100 bill. How cool is that? Showing up everything under UV light. I'll try the little JetBeam Mini 1 and see if it shows it up clearer or if it's less powerful. Alright, it's far less powerful on the JetBeam Mini 1, but it's quite convenient to put it on a keychain and take it around with you. So if you do have any notes and you want to show off someone, it's a lot easier carrying around the little keychain light rather than the big AceBeam X80. So eastern spinebill, sulfur crested cockatoo, colourful swan, colourful kookaburra, and the masked owl. Just turned on my AceBeam X80 to wrap this video up. Look how beautiful those notes look under light. And we were chatting away with my friend down there at work, and we couldn't work out what the raised dimples, how you would tell if you were visually impaired, how you would tell what note was what. But I've just noticed, I don't know if it'll show up, just at the top there, above the eastern spinebill, can you see the little raised dimple just above the Banksia? Well, the $5 note has one. If you have a look at the $10 note up there, just to the right of the cockatoo, it has two. The $50 note just above the Swan has 4. The $20 note above the Kookaburra has 3. And the $100 note above the Masked Owl has 5. Very cool. They are some beautiful looking banknotes. Australia has to have some of the best looking currency in the world. That'll wrap us up. Let's throw in these $1 and $2 notes back in the fold to see what once was and to see what the currency is like today. There's the $1 and $2 that are in gold formation these days, in coin formation. 5, 10, 50, 20 and the 100. So looking at how long it's been between drinks, 92 was the last rollout of the $5 note. So what's that, 2002, 2012, nearly 30 years ago. So we're looking at maybe 2050 if they're going on that track record for the new currency to maybe be released. Okay, that'll do us, I think. Adios.